we have a surprise from Tesla. Giga Texas is hiding refresh Model 3s in plain sight. These are all refresh Model 3s, as you can clearly see. These are Model Ys, but these are Model 3s. And there are too many of them to make me think they have been transported from California to Texas. We know that Fremont does not exactly have all that much space, and I presented this question earlier. Why doesn't Tesla move some production from Fremont to Giga Texas? Texas has so much space. Fremont, not really. When an analyst goes to that factory in Fremont, they always say that the factory is overcrowded. So maybe Tesla decided to do something about it now. Now, it's also possible that Tesla is just making the Model 3 ludicrous, which is going to be the performance model, basically. I'm not sure yet, but I will try to find out more about this. On X, there have been many bears that claim that this person passed away due to an issue with the Tesla because of unintended acceleration. But today we found out that Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law was drunk when she drove into the pond. It's a sad story, but we found out that it is not Tesla's fault. So Tesla here has been exonerated. The blood alcohol content that was found in her blood was 3 times the legal limit. Here's some important news for us Tesla stock investors. The Biden administration just now finalized stringent new tailpipe emission rules that will force automakers to toss most of their gas-powered models to the curb by 2030 and sell primarily electric vehicles. The new fleet-wide standards will start with vehicle model year 2027 and phase in gradually until fully implemented by model year 2032. New vehicle sales must be roughly 2/3 electric. In the US, last year, only 7% of all of the auto sales were EVs, pure EVs. However, their goals include not just BEVs, but also hybrids and plug-in hybrids. There seem to be some exceptions for some vehicles. However, senior administration officials who spoke with reporters by phone said that they expect 56% of all of the new vehicles sold in 2032 to be fully electric. So it doesn't seem like they are going to be too lenient with the rules. Now, I personally think we don't really need to enforce this because it is going to happen anyway. But I also love it when an EV drives by me when I'm taking a walk outside and I don't need to suffocate and pollute my lungs. These new rules will also make the US auto manufacturers a little bit more competitive over the long term because they will have more urgency to transition to EVs now. Look at how smart V12.3 is. It knows that the gate may open like this, hitting the car, so it creeps.
Forward, there's a car behind us. It's continuing to creep. This gate actually swings out.
Oh.
There's enough room. It waited till, and now that it hit the sensor, it's waited for the gate. That was absolutely perfect.
I once had a situation where the gate opened towards me and I was like, oh, that's not great. And then every single time after that, I left more space in front of the gate before I triggered the sensor. But it just knows it can happen. Here's V12.3 in downtown Houston. It's a 43-minute drive. Starts in downtown and then goes to the outskirts of the city, I guess. No interventions, no takeovers, a perfect drive. Quite incredible. So we are seeing these things from multiple different people, not just from Omar. I was also reading the comments under yesterday's video, and I do see some people having some issues still. So it's definitely not perfect, but you have to admit, it has made incredible progress lately. Here's another person with 0 disengagements or any critical interventions. It's sped up, so it's about a 10-minute drive. And Bradford says V12.3 just drove me to work flawlessly. My commute went from me having to disengage the system multiple times to trivially easy for the Tesla to complete. And I found this. I'm not sure who put it together, but this is incredible. I think it's Edge Case 411 on X, and you can see how he rated FSD V12.3 compared to previous versions. At a first glance, there doesn't seem to be all that much improvement over the old versions, but there are a few things that are critical that are much better. For example, 21, proper behavior at yield signs. Before, he only gave the FSD beta a 3. But now he's giving it a 7. Roundabouts before used to be pretty bad. Now, at least they're a 7 based on his experience. And intervention-free drives certainly got better compared to V11. So based on his experience, it's a huge improvement from V11, but not a huge improvement from the previous V12 version. Remember the election at Giga Berlin? Which, if Tesla lost, then the union would have gained influence, which would have not been great for Tesla. But now that the election just finished, we know that even though the union has gained some influence, it now has 16 out of the 39 seats. They are far from a majority, and hence their influence will remain limited. So the union lost. The union made some accusations. When people were fired, it was usually done without objection by the Works Council, which did not even hear from the affected colleagues. This is the opposite of Works Council for the employees. The new Work Council will start working next week, and IG Metal says that it will push for hiring more temporary workers, longer cycle times on the assembly lines, appropriate line breaks, no more salary deductions in case of illness, and more. So do expect the cost for Tesla at Giga Berlin to go up by a little bit. We now have the world's first Cybertruck teardown. This is the Cybertruck battery. The seat risers are castings attached to the battery pack enclosure. Here's another photo. This teardown is not from Sandy Monroe, by the way. We are expecting a teardown from him as well. This teardown is from the Autoline network. Sandy Monroe also just released a new video about the Cybertruck, about its underbody specifically.